Mm-hmm. Very good.
One.
Very good.
Ha!
Good.
Oh, do that again.
So,
Very good.
Wow, you're a good student.
That was very good.
I have an apple for
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, and a star.
So this is the course?
So it's called lifeprint.com.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll be
Okay.
amazed. On the side, there's a dictionary, but then on the top, there's lesson 1, 2, and it talks about all these different things. And
Okay.
I mean, you need an instructor to help you if you're going to learn the language, because that interaction is good, and being able to sign with each other is really good, but this is very cool. He did this years ago, but it still works.
So like Rosetta Stone for.
Yes, exactly,
languages,
exactly. So, just some subtle things. We don't need to use the sign the. We don't use it. We don't need to. Some people do, and it's not wrong. But it'll make it a lot easier for you guys too. You don't need that. It is the and. You don't even need and. If I'm telling you that Juan and I went to the library, I don't have to tell you all that. Library, the two of us went. So it's like, oh, cool. Otherwise it's...
and then if they ask, who is the two of us, then you say,
Right, if you're sitting here, it's the two of us.
oh yeah, of course,
So
because they
if
can
you're not
see me.
here, like,
But like if you're talking with someone, be like, I want to see this person, have coffee with them.
right,
So they're like, who?
okay. And it doesn't, it's not like you throw the signs out and they stick. You have to have communication with each other, and that's a really good point. If I signed to you last week, Sally and I went for coffee, okay? And you go, Sally, who's Sally? Oh, well, then I'll have to explain it to you. If you don't ask me, I'm not gonna explain it. But if you ask me, like, who is she? Well, and the thing another thing that's really cool about ASL, it's very descriptive. They will describe, one of my deaf friends years ago he said, we describe or explain, describe, explain, want more, explain. We're constantly explaining or describing because it's communication. If you are coming to my house for a party and you've never been to my house, I'm going to tell you or show you exactly where it is. And so sometimes it seems real exaggerated and you're like, oh my God, just, I'm fine. Just tell me it's the third house from the corner. No, this first house is yellow, a little fence around it. The second one is green, and there are 2 stories, and door spread. I mean, it's like, just tell me it's the third house. No, I'm going to explain it because it's visual, and I don't want you to miss anything. So that's pretty cool. So, let's do the alphabet one more time. We'll do it again, but we'll do it.
Okay.
We'll do it, and then I want to see how much you remember.
Okay.
I mean, in a classroom, I write the alphabet on the board and show you guys, and then I'll point to an A, and I'll point to a G, and I'll point, and it's amazing. If you trust yourself, you got this. We put blocks up, when we're learning something, we all do that, but if that's okay, nobody's gonna get hurt, it's gonna be okay. So let's do A, B, C, remember it's a C, but you don't have to drop down, just keep it comfortable so you're not straining too much of that stuff that's in there holding your hand up. C, D,
And then E.
D looks like a little D. Remember, it looks like a little D, so get
Oh, never mind.
There
Yes,
you go.
yes,
And E.
and then E, get your, you have to pull your thumb in there. Can you do that? I know
Alright.
it's not always easy. E, and then F, G,
Wait, what was that?
F,
Oh, all of them up.
Yeah.
Okay. F.
like fabulous.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Maybe.
F, G,
Mm.
H, I. And then draw the J,
J.
and draw it the way you see it.
Mm-hmm.
K, L, and it looks like an L.
Yeah.
M, has 3 fingers, N has 2.
Can't we have 3 down though?
You can, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just, you don't always have the
M.
time to, but anywhere,
Okay.
the difference is that M has 3 and N has 2, no matter
Okay,
where
so
it is.
this is M and N.
M has 3,
Right, but
yeah, there you go,
Okay.
M, and then
Yeah.
tuck this one under, so you just got the 2, there you go. O is O,
Mhm.
and then P looks like a K, but it's dropped. And then Q looks like a G, but it's dropped.
Mhm.
And then R, like your fingers crossed. S, fist. And then T, U, and U's together. There you go. And then V,
B,
and then W,
W,
looks like W. And then X,
X.
little hook, like a little hook. There you go. Yeah, perfect. And then Y and Z. Now, because our hands can only do so many shapes, we cross over with signs and hand shapes. So one hand shape could mean a lot of different things. Okay, I don't want to confuse you and overwhelm you with stuff, but we can only do so much with our hands. So let's see you guys do the alphabet. Let's see what you
So A,
A,
B,
B,
C,
C.
Looks like a little D.
D.
Looks like
No,
a little D.
D.
There you
All
go.
right,
D.
wait.
There you go.
D.
Perfect.
D,
E,
Great.
uh,
F. Fantastic. Fantastic.
wait, no, F,
After this one? Oh,
There you
Oh.
go.
there we are.
Yeah, like
the OK.
F,
F
Yeah.
is like the OK. Okay.
and then
F.
G is
G is like the little
One.
bit.
yeah,
one.
just the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
G,
G,
And then the other one comes up.
H.
H,
So you turn it,
Yes, with this.
turn it, I'm like, there you go.
Like
Get
gum,
your
but
thumb-
without the thing.
Right.
wait,
I
You don't
remember.
want to shoot anybody.
H,
H,
I,
where's my thumb go? Okay,
Yeah.
I,
right? Then J, you draw it.
Draw J.
and then
K, you guys got
K.
that one.
A,
L, looks like
L.
L. There you go.
M, N.
wait.
Sorry.
M,
N, O,
O.
P, Q,
Drop the G to make a Q.
Q,
There you go. Fingers crossed. R.
Q, R, S,
like
S.
oh,
Fist.
S,
S,
and
T,
T. Got your nose.
oh right, T,
But in between the
oh,
first
just
and
one. T,
T,
U
U.
looks like view. Get the thumb out of the way. There you go.
Q,
V,
W looks like W.
W.
X is a hook.
X, the hook,
X, little hook. There you go.
Y,
Y, hang loose.
all right, Y,
But don't shake it. It's too Hawaiian.
The phone's ringing.
Other word is Hawaiian.
and Z.
Yeah. Yay!
That's great.
I'm gonna try to remember that every
So
day.
practice.
And I will
practice.
send you these
Practice.
tapes too, so you have
Okay,
them.
and what you want to practice is being smooth with your finger spelling. So you
So
don't
finger
want to
spelling, practice, and smooth.
be smooth.
Smooth.
Be smooth with your
And
finger
this is
spelling.
coffee.
And that's
And
coffee.
this is who.
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 There are a couple different signs for who. It could be who, it could be who. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But, what did I just say about?
Finger spelling. Be smooth with it.
Yes. So, thank you. What you want to do is practice spelling things. Like, and when we spell things, we sound them out in our head. Okay? We don't go letter by letter. Because it's really hard if you go letter by letter. Like my name has 7 letters. So
Wait for
if I go
mine.
hi, I know, my name is Melanie. See
Oh
that?
yeah, I remember
I'm
you told me that not to do
bouncing
this.
it.
Yeah, you told me there's like like make it smooth,
Yeah.
not
Good
not
job.
letter by letter.
Good
but you
job.
just go for it.
So when you're practicing, sound out the words instead of going letter by letter, and that'll help you being smooth. when you're reading someone's signs, sound out the word as you see it instead of letter by letter. I'm telling you, if you can remember that, you're in good shape.
Okay.
Because that's really going to help you. It's going to help you read other people's signs, and it's going to help you smooth finger spelling. Okay, it's just, it's awkward at first. It's just like when we learn handwriting, you know, and we do the capital J, and then we do the Y, U, and then we do the A, and then we do the N. But after a while, you're smooth with it. So it's the same thing with this. If you can practice sounding out the word, every word. I'll tell you the story of my first ASL class 1,000 years ago. And the teacher, we had, practicing finger spelling, and he was deaf. He would make little sounds, but he didn't speak at all. So he signed this. And that's normal speed.
That's T, T, H, the. That's that.
The.
But we did that same thing. We were in a group, and he's, we're sitting there and we're watching him, and he's doing that. We're going, "Teh? Teh? What's a teh?" And I was like, "Oh, the." So if you can practice the everyday common words, and is the, excuse me, of, it, that'll help you, because then you can recognize them. If someone spells inside of a sentence that they do choose to spell a word, then you go, "Oh, I know, that makes sense." I don't want to stress you guys with that. Okay, so let's do numbers, and then we can work on that. Of course, there are a lot of numbers, right? But
Go up to 1 million.
yeah, right. Got a minute? So we can.
No, I'm just joking.
How many hours do you have?
Yeah. So typically, when we are signing numbers, now these are not written in stone, and you're going to meet people that don't do this, and there's sometimes that we don't do this. But just to know the rules, typically we sign 1 through 5 facing us. Okay, so we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The
One,
only difference that you're probably not used to is
2,
3.
3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then go back to 4,
Oh, 4
and then 5.
and 5.
Okay,
Well,
typically,
That's confusing.
yeah,
And my hand is like, what are
I
you
know.
doing?
Dun, dun, dun,
Wait.
dun.
1, 2, 3,
4.
4, 5.
Mhm.
Okay.
And typically we do that facing us.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go crazy if you don't, because there, again, like all grammar rules, there are times you
So
don't.
facing up would be like 6.
Well, it's just kind of the way it is. It's just the way it is. No, that wouldn't be 6, but that's interesting, because when we get to 6, then we don't face ourselves. That's 6. That's 7.
Wait, 6.
6,
7.
7,
7,
8,
8,
9. Now, doesn't that look like something else we just learned?
F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in context, your hands can only do so much.
Yeah.
So in context, if you're signing to someone and I live in apartment number 9, you go, F? No, it's number. Oh, it must be 9.
Number. Okay.
It's not like reading a written linear language.
I was gonna
you have
say-
to be flexible.
I was gonna say, but I realized my mistake, and I was gonna say, why didn't you just like count with fingers? But I can imagine that like there's some people who don't have both hands. That's why you have.
Well, that's
to
not why,
do
but
it.
Or if you're
There
holding
are.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not really why, but
Okay.
that's okay. There are people that don't have hands, but if they don't have hands, they can't sign at all.
I mean, just one hand.
Use
Like
your
you're allowed to do it with one hand.
That's a good one. They
My
always
horse
say
can't
it.
sign,
Take
my
your
dog
socks
can't
off.
sign, my cat can't sign. They can understand it, but they can't do it. They don't have the digits. So that's funny. Kind of an aside, without making it crazy, British Sign Language, they use two hands for their alphabet. So I don't know British Sign Language. I know that that's N and that's Z. And I think it's A, E, I, O, and U are the vowels. But we don't do that. We don't do that. We A, E, I, O, U. We one-handed alphabet. So with the numbers, typically the rule is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, facing you. Then you turn around for 6. Right, and then there you go.
6,
So start with the little finger because that's the lower number.
right.
Okay, so that's the
6,
littlest finger. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See how it's an A handshake? We don't mean A. I mean, if I'm going to say, I'm going to meet you tomorrow in the morning at time 10. Meet you at A? I'm meeting you at A. There's no A time. So your brain just, your hands can only do so much. So a lot of these hand shapes mean more than one thing. So it's really cool when you're communicating with deaf people because you have to look at each other and pay attention. So that's very cool. Because hearing people, we can come home, go into the kitchen, you could be sitting here in the living room, how you doing? Oh, fine, how was your day? Okay, well, I'm getting dinner started, all right. You can't. You've got to look at the person and say, how was your day? How are you feeling? I'm going to start cooking. Then you have to look at the person, so that's cool. Because you know they're engaged in the conversation. Hearing people, we don't pay attention to each other. So I can show you up to 20, but don't worry about it, and then we can start some of these. But here's 10. So this is 11. And when you think about it, it's 1 and 1 next to each other. 11. 12. 12. And you're just
12.
flicking 12. And then 13. 13. And then 14. 14. And then 15.
Is this towards yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
15, and then 10 plus 6 is 16, so you're doing 10, 6,
Oh, like in French.
10,
10,
7. Yeah, 16, 17,
Yeah.
18, 19. So that helps. Now, you can even go a little further and make it less movement, which we're always looking for. How can I do this without too much movement? You can do 16, 17, 18, 19. But it helps in the beginning to think 10 plus 6, 10 plus 7, and the SEO, and the SEO, that seems to help if you know French, which I don't know. And then 20. It's 20.
So it's like the G.
Yeah, but keep these fingers down.
Oh.
Because that can be distracting. Like, what are those doing up there? You know? So
But you're
20.
seeing the little things on the wall.
So 20,
Shadow.
but look at this. This is also the sign for bird.
Bunnies.
Oh.
What?
Bird.
Oh, that's bird?
Chicken is a bird. Right? That's their little beak. So in context, like how old are you? I'm age 20. You're not chicken age. You're not a bird. Right. Right. So that's the, just in closing this section, that's the thing. If we identify the subject or topic first and then describe it, like age. Oh, okay. My brain's saying there's going to be a number. Okay.
I don't go up that high.
I live at number. It's like, oh, okay, that helps me. Okay. The street's name. Oh, okay, it's going to be fingerspelled. I better pay attention. Okay. So number, name, 2 times, name, go to age, time, and these are little warnings, like little hints, like time, uh-oh, it's gonna be a number. Age, it's gonna be a number. I live over there, number, and you go, oh shit, it's gotta be a number. It's gonna be a longer number, I gotta pay attention. Okay, don't be afraid to ask the other person, though. You know, you could say, wrong me, I made a mistake, or sorry. You can do sorry with an A, which is I apologize, or with an S, sorry. The same thing. If I apologize or if I'm sorry, it's the same thing. So then you can ask them, and to get somebody's attention, you wave your hand. We don't do that in hearing culture. You wave your hand in front of their face. Yeah, and that's perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly how you do it. Sometimes you have to go bam, you know, so get somebody's attention because they're
They can hear you
watching
yell.
something and they can't hear you. So I always say too, like in hearing culture, we're taught not to stare and not to point.
Right, and that breaks all
In
the
deaf
rules.
culture, you have to point. I'm gonna point. It's you and it's you. And I'm not being rude. It's just that, oh, where's the book? Oh, that's it. That's mine. Okay. You and me. Okay, I'm not being rude. It's just that how do I know unless I point
Mhm.
to you? Okay? So pointing and staring. I'm not staring like staring, but just watching. It's rude. You don't want to ignore the person. It's rude not to have eye contact. And that's the biggest complaint that hearing people have about, deaf people have about hearing people, is that they give no expression
Mhm.
and they don't look at them.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
how do you know what I'm signing? If you're like, look at me, you know? It's like, and they're deaf people, they'll get upset. I don't blame them. I'm signing to you. And the face tells it all.
Hmm.
So we're all actors, so we know that. The face tells it all. If, like in the beginning of my ASL 1 classes, students are very shy, they don't want to do anything, and they don't want to look at anybody, and, well, sorry. You know, either drop the class or stick with me, and let's do this together. So, the eye contact is really important.
Mhm.
Facial expression is really important. This is the sign for facial expressions. And if you introduce me to one and I go,
That didn't
What
look
was
good.
that? Was like fuck you?
no,
It looked like that to me too.
Yeah.
Like you were bored. I
the
could care
face,
less.
right.
Yeah. Big
What,
deal.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big deal.
So,
Yeah, right. Nice to meet you.
Right. So, nice, you would smile.
Ah.
If something's nice, you would smile.
Yeah, because people will read faces first.
Yes, yes. And the deaf people know. They're really intuitive.
They're
They have
catching
that
those
gut-
micro expressions that we
Yes.
get.
They have that gut feeling and they're smart. And they read people right away. And they'll, I don't want to be with him. He's not giving me anything. He's rude.
Hmm.
So, you think of a sign like nice, it's nice. Like last night movie. Oh, it was nice. Last night dinner. Oh, it was nice. I was like, it was okay. It wasn't okay. If it was okay, it was okay. But it was nice. So we always want the face to match the emotion. So that's where the acting part comes in, which is great.
Mhm.
So that's, you're giving that before you even give the signs. And even if you don't know the signs, I have deaf friends that travel all over the world. Wow, how do you do that? You know, just act it out. They go to Japan, they go to Russia, they go to Turkey, they act it out. So when in doubt, act it out. Okay? But your face says it all. I've been introduced to people and I've seen deaf people go, oh, I think it's really nice. That's a nice smile. Yes. Good. I don't want them to go, ooh. And then when you're interpreting, as soon as you walk in, they're analyzing you right away. It's like, okay.
Oh, the people are judgy then.
Yeah, they do, and they will. They'll sit back and they'll,
People first, baby.
Yeah.
People first.
but they will. Sometimes they'll just go like, make my day. Okay. What do you got? Show me what you got. Am I gonna like you, or am I gonna just go, look it, I'm gonna give you what I'm gonna give you, and that's the way it is. Okay? So,
Weird.
preguntas?
I'm good. I like it.
It's cool, right? It's cool. When instead of clapping, because deaf people can't hear, we do this. Hooray!
Yes.
Hooray!
Hallelujah.
Yeah, and it's also a sign for finish.
Mhm.
Finish. So it's really a past tense sign. Eat, finish? Yes, eat, finish. I already ate.
Okay, so
Book,
we
read, you, finish? Yes, book, read, me, finish.
have like 45 minutes left.
Okay.
So do you
Let me
think
take
it's
it
time
as
to
phone
do the
number.
lines? Okay.
Can I go to the bathroom really quick?
Yeah,
No.
that's a good idea. No, Peter,
Eric's